Namaste and welcome to Heart and Matter. And I just wanted to, just before I start this podcast, just want to say a big thank you to Ahmed. And I hope if you're watching this, Ahmed, I want to just thank you for your contribution and to the love that you've given to this channel, and look forward to, hopefully us joining forces at some point in the future. So thank you, brother, and hope all is well with you. And I just want to say thank you also to new subscribers that have obviously joined since I've not been on here for a few months now. And so I want to say thank you to the new subscribers and also to the old subscribers. And want to thank you also for your understanding. And, it's for me, just needed that time out to on my journey, just to reevaluate things in my life. So without further ado, we'll jump into this podcast, and channel's going to go in a slightly newer direction from where I was originally at a few months ago. So for me personally, I've sort of delved into sort of different or looked into certain different things like shamanism, druids, alchemy, the occult even, sort of it took me places, but along the way I found the Taoist way of life that I found was very interesting for me. And I picked up a little book called the Tao Teh Ching by Lao Tzu, and that was really my journey. So and so I've just been spending a few months sort of in a place of solitude and quiet time and reflecting, and coming back now to be here on the channel again and taking this channel in a new direction with these teachings and wisdom. So thank you for your patience, and welcome Chloe, because Chloe is going to be joining me as a co-host. We've been doing Namaste, Chloe. Namaste. And so it's an exciting time because we're sharing this journey together. And obviously, we meet up on occasions and share our views and our insights into sort of the Taoist teachings, and also, how it's all sort of tied in as well to Tai Chi and, the list goes on, and it's meditation as well, so it's just all these great things. But obviously, what I want to be able to do is with that is such a broad, such a big place to discover lots of different approaches as well. And there is no right way and there is no wrong way, as I say. It's your way, and that's what you're going to find is your way within that, what it is for you, because we're all different, and we're all here, and we're all beautifully unique as well in our own divine way. And that's what makes as I say, the old saying is a spice of life, so But what I'd like to do just before we get started is just to pause for a few minutes, just to take a deep breath, and because there's a lot of as we know, a lot of commotion in the world, and our daily lives can be very busy and very hectic, and it's just one of those things where it's just nice to just to stop and just to be able to reflect and just to pause and just to take a deep breath. So we'll do that, and then we're going to the podcast. So I'll take a deep breath. Well, it feels good, doesn't it? Just to pause. Anyway, there we go. So Chloe, I just want to thank you, for you wanted to be a part of this, and being my co-host in this, and just seeing where this journey takes us, and exploring obviously the whole sort of Taoist Because it's not a religion, a lot of people think it's a religion, and it's not religion. It's actually very based in philosophy rather than religion.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I like that. That really means a lot to me. But anyway, tonight we're going to be looking into the
Mm,
Tao Te Ching, verse 28 tonight, which is about living virtuously, which is another word for living
mm,
by your true nature.
mm,
So that's what we're going to explore tonight. So yeah, looking forward to that. I mean, I've been reading from a certain book here by Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, which is Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, which I'll put underneath for the viewers. But yes, it's great because it doesn't just only give you the verse; it also gives you insights, which are really good, and it really helps you to get a better understanding of the Tao Te Ching, which was written about 2,500 years ago by Lao Tzu, at a time when there's a lot of upheaval within China, and stuff. And
mm.
apparently, I looked into the Tao Te Ching. Apparently, it's about the second most printed book to the Bible. So it's a very
Doesn't surprise me,
yeah,
really.
yeah. So
Mm,
it's quite an interesting thing as I was looking more and more into it. But that's where we
mm.
are tonight. So I'm gonna share the verse on the screen for our viewers. Um, Chloe, would you like to read the verse, and then we'll go into a discussion about it? You quite happy to do that? So what I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do is
Yeah, I'm happy to read it, brother.
I'll share the screen. There we go, and
Sure.
we should have it on
And
screen. Yeah,
yeah, just before I read, yes,
yeah.
thank you for, for the opportunity to do this with you. It's yeah, it's really a pleasure.
Wow, it's amazing.
So,
Yeah, it is a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, Chloe, because
hmm,
when we do meet up, we really do connect and stuff, and we have some very, very deep dives into
mm,
life and the mystery of life and stuff. So yeah, it's great that you feel that you wanted to be a part of this. So yeah, I can't think of a beautiful soul to work with as we explore this. So thank you.
oh, bless you. Thank you. Yeah, okay, so without further ado, I'll read it for the listeners. Know the strength of man, but keep a woman's care. Be a valley under heaven. If you do, the constant virtue will not fade away. One will become like a child again. Know the white, keep to the black, and be the pattern of the world. To be the pattern of the world is to move constantly in the path of virtue without erring a single step, and to return again to the infinite. One who understands splendor while holding to humility acts in accord with eternal power. To be the fountain of the world is to live the abundant life of virtue. When the unformed is formed into objects, its original qualities are lost. If you preserve your original qualities, you can govern anything. Truly, the best governor governs least.
Thank you for that, Chloe. I'll just hit the stop share. There we go. That was amazing. Yeah, there's a lot to reflect on there, and that I find as
Mm,
we read these verses, they're very paradoxical, and took me a while to start to sort of get little things that were coming through from it, and stuff. I mean,
mm.
yeah, but gradually as I've been sort of exploring it more, it's making a lot more sense to me now from when I
Yeah,
first started reading it. So
and
yeah, amazing.
each time I read the verse, I've read it several times this week, obviously,
Mm,
like in preparation for our podcast, but also I think it is really helpful to review. And this particular verse has really, I think, had quite an impact on me.
right.
And every time I've read it, there's been a different part maybe that stood out to me, or a different part has meant more to me, or I've maybe perceived it in a slightly different way. So yeah, I think it's good to keep reading these verses, to reread them, to deepen our understanding of them, to become more familiar with them.
mm,
And as you said, it may not make much sense at first, but I think the more that we read it, the more it does make sense. The more it will speak to us, definitely.
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this morning I sat there with it this morning, and it was just nice as I was reading. Sort of certain things just yeah, just came naturally to me about what it was imparting there.
Mm.
So I've got a couple of points to share, which I'll share in a little while. I know that I think you had a couple of
Are
points
you
and stuff that you're into.
frozen?
I don't know. I think I'm
Can
okay.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're here.
Oh, you're okay now. You're okay now. You did freeze for a short
Okay,
time, but you're back.
I'm back. Okay. Yeah, and I noticed that when I was over your place last week, that you was writing down pointers as well.
Mm,
That were coming to you from out when you was reading it and stuff as well. So
mm,
yeah, but what's it really about? Well, I mean, for me, um, when I really sort of reflect on that, it's about connecting with your true inner nature. Um, that's what it feels like for me. Um, and as we know, when we're born, we come out of the birth canal, we come into the world pretty much instantly, we're pretty much by 5 years old, put into school, and, you know, then we have all of the, I suppose I like to use the word what society wants to install and to give you all this information.
mm.
So it really starts to then,
Indoctrination.
yeah, and it just starts to disconnect you from really, your
Mm,
true yourself, because you then start to take these things on as you go through your life,
mm-hmm,
and they seem to be the normal social standards of how you should be and how you should act, or and we know how or where society is going and where it's trying to be. You can we can see it, we see it every day.
mm-hmm.
Where it's going. So it's really going back to well, it's unlearning. It's not learning, it's unlearning. This is what I'm finding. It's about it's
Mm,
about unlearning. It's actually the opposite. um
mm.
yeah, it is about unlearning, and it's sort of shedding away the layers so
Yes.
that you can start to find your true self, and what
Yep.
you're what's really, because it's very easy as well, isn't it, to take on values of other people, your mums, your dads, your friends, your lovers, to take on all these different values,
Teachers, um,
features, yeah,
media,
media,
politicians.
yeah, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
This is it.
influencers these days on the
Influences, yeah,
internet. Yep.
yeah, and it
Yep.
is, it's a very, very it's a very, very sort of maze that you have to sort of find your way through to then come out the other side of
Mm,
it, because the last 3 years have been quite interesting for me in my life, but would I change any of that? Not at all. Yeah,
mm,
it's been, how do I put it? There's been some challenges along the way. It's been very so difficult at times, but it's not that's part of growing. That's part of how we
of
grow,
course.
and that's how we learn as well, is through the mistakes that we may make as well. Because I've learned as well, about there's no such thing as actual perfection.
Mm,
People are always trying to reach to that certain bar that they may put there, but actually,
mm,
we sometimes, most of the time, set the bar too high. And it's about getting to know yourself and about what you can manage and what you can do,
mm.
what's good for you in your life, as it is for me.
And
um
this, sorry to interject there, but that
Please.
bar that is set, it often isn't set by ourselves, or it's set with, from external pressures and external expectations. So, we're looking out there to kind of obtain something or achieve something rather than looking inside ourselves. And that the word that you use, layers, I think that's so appropriate, because it's just literally our whole lives from when we, even before we start school, it is these layers and layers of expectations and other people's opinions and ideas. And in the Western culture, it's very much you listen to the people in charge and they tell you what to do and they tell you how to think and they tell you how to behave. So it's layers and layers and layers. And what I feel like I'm doing, and people on this path, we're kind of peeling away those layers. Like you said, we're unlearning it. There's in the notes section related to this verse, the Lao Tzu, his perspective of this verse is that you should entertain the exact opposite of what you've been conditioned to believe. So it's exactly what you said. It's that unlearning everything that's you've been told you should believe or think. Actually, just try and imagine the opposite of that. It's that duality, like you said, the paradox, the duality. There's always duality in nature and life. There's always paradoxes. So the word that really cries out to me after reading this verse several times is authenticity. And authenticity being our true self, our true self, the truest form we can be, which I know I'm not yet. I'm working towards that. It's a work in progress, but authenticity is definitely, for me, living virtuously is to be your authentic true self.
Yeah, that makes absolute perfect sense. As you're saying that, because that's why I've been sort of on my journey, but for the last few weeks, sort of I've been sort of on an interesting journey. And I came across a certain channel, and it's called Wei Wisdom, actually, and it's by this guy called David James Lees, who's a Taoist monk, and he actually, from what I remember, he actually, he started off as in Chinese medicine. So he had all the Chinese medicine stuff that he was doing, and stuff that they do, and stuff, and acupunctures and all that sort of stuff. But eventually he sort of went out to China, and he spent a lot of time out there and stuff and all that. And obviously, within that, most probably immersed himself in the whole sort of Taoist way. And, and he's then brought back all this beautiful knowledge, to share. And for me, it makes a lot of sense. It's very simplified. It's very, very easy. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the word inner child, even myself, I had a misunderstanding of that. But he uses the inner child as being part of our ego, and how it gets damaged, from a very, very young age. And it usually happens between the ages of 5 and 9. Which is quite interesting. Yeah. And ultimately, as we go through life, it's that subconscious part of us that's sort of running the show. And does that sort of make sense?
Totally does.
Yeah. And it's almost like this morning I did a meditation, and I had to go there and connect with my inner, young me, really connect with that and show it the love and the attention that it needs. And it was almost like becoming one with that, and accepting all those things that have happened in my life over the years. But that's that for me, I feel, is part of the process. That's part of the growing. That's part of the making that peace with yourself. Because there's that's a part of you, and
of course it is.
He talks about getting off the carousel of despair that we're constantly
mentioned that
wrapped up in, and stuff. And so a lot of the stuff that he's been talking about has really been very insightful. So I won't chat about it too much longer, but I will share a couple of links for people to look at as well after the podcast. We've done the
But
podcast.
yeah, what you're saying there about, connecting with your inner child and giving that part of you that attention, that is all part of peeling back the layers, to become more truly authentic and
Yeah.
living by your original qualities, as
Mm,
Lao Tzu calls it, your original qualities.
mm,
He uses that word quite a lot to speak about like our true nature.
mm,
And in
mm,
order to get back to that, we have got to kind of peel away the layers, and we've got to nurture the parts of us that maybe we've either been suppressing or ignoring, or we didn't even realize were there. There's some things that have come up for me in the last couple of years that I thought I had dealt with already, but they've kind of come up again. It's like, no,
mm,
hello, you still need to deal with me, or this 18-year-old Chloe still needs this and still needs that. And it's like, wow, okay. Like I didn't expect that, but it's because
mm,
as you peel back the layers, you can't do all your healing just like that. You can't just wave a magic wand and be healed.
mm, mm,
It is done in layers, and each layer that
mm,
you peel back will reveal so many other things.
mm.
And sometimes that can be amazing and relieving, and other times it can be really uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
found some
Yeah.
layers have been really quite uncomfortable because you're left feeling a bit like, oh, okay, so now I don't believe that, or now I've peeled off that layer. You feel a bit almost open or exposed, or you're not sure how to feel about certain things. So
Mm.
it's not an easy thing to do, actually, to peel off those layers. But I think the closer we get to the center, if that's what you want to call it, not the easier it will become, but the more comfortable I think it will become, because we'll be closer to our true selves.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is really about finding that becoming at peace, becoming at peace with yourself and your
Mm,
and enjoying a child, because
yes. Yeah.
it makes sense, because you know we carry that into our lives, and
Mm,
a lot of the stuff that we do and the way we act, and it's all out of that process of what we've been through in our early years. So
mm,
yeah, it takes something to go there. It really, really does. And it's like, even this morning, as I was doing the meditation, it felt like there was a bit of resistance there from the young Kelvin.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
But I was like saying, it's okay. It's okay. I'm here to nurture you. I'm here to love you
mm,
and give you the love that you need, and
yep.
does that sort of make sense? Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
beautiful. That's
Mm,
beautiful that you're doing that. Yeah.
mm,
Mm.
mm, mm. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
like opening your heart to your inner child, and that, because
yeah.
yeah, it just needs that love, that that
Mm,
yeah, that love, that where it's just, yeah, I suppose, been crushed in, I suppose, in its
mm-hmm.
early experiences of certain things, and stuff and all that. So yeah, it's finding that oneness there between your inner child, and yourself. It's all part of us. So it's a part of our
It is.
subconscious. Mm,
And it's not only the inner child, but it's also the shadow and the darker parts of ourselves,
mm,
which we all have,
mm,
because it talks in here about, know the white, keep to the black and the
mm,
white, and the
mm,
duality. So we all have dark and light in us, or black and white. So it's not only your inner child, it's also the darker parts of us that we have to recognize,
mm.
and we have to be at peace with them as well.
Yes.
And that's part of being authentic as well, and being true
Mm,
and living virtuously is knowing that we have those dark parts, but that's okay. Yeah, it says like be the pattern of the world, so to me that kind of says the pattern of the world. It to me, when I first read that, it was like, the world is um it's not all the same, it's all different. It's a pattern. It's yes, there are kind of patterns and things, different patterns, but oh, I've just realized we're running out of time, brother. It's just popped up on my screen.
What's it saying? How long we got?
It doesn't say how long. It just says running out of time. I think we've got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
We could always do another one though
Yeah.
after for about 15 or 20
Well,
minutes.
what we could do,
Yeah,
we could just
sorry.
we could do maybe what we'll do this as a part one. We'll do this as a part
That's a
one,
good
and
idea.
then we'll do a part two to it and stuff and
Okay,
all that.
that's a
And
good
then
idea.
yeah, because obviously we had to, I'll let the viewers know we had a bit of a problem with Zoom and stuff because they've done certain things and like certain updates, and we found it a little bit difficult. But we eventually got there to do this tonight. But now that we sort of or shall I say Chloe found a way to be able to do the meeting. But yeah, but my end, obviously, I'll be able to do it sort of so that it's sort of unlimited time. So but yeah, we'll do a part two. We'll carry this on because I think
Mm,
it needs a part two. So we'll do this as a part
definitely.
one, and then we'll carry on with a part two.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we've probably got at least 5 minutes. I'm just thinking what time we
Mm.
started. So we've got at least 5 minutes, maybe
Yeah.
even 10. But yeah,
Yeah.
just to quickly finish what I was saying, I think the pattern of the world that can obviously be interpreted in different ways.
Mm.
But to me, that does kind of conjure up the image of like differences, inside us. There's all these different parts of us, and outside there's all, lots of different parts. So it's about kind of being all those parts and embracing them as well. That's how I kind of interpreted that. Although in the notes, it's actually said something quite different. And when I read it, I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense too. But I think it's okay to interpret things and have a slightly different perspective, on things. We don't all think the same, do we, about
No,
what we
no,
read? So,
that's it. Yeah, that's
mm,
again, that's what makes us all beautifully unique, because again, the David talks about he talks about the Shen, and saying that there's that part of us that the Shen is the spirit, you know, and in each one of us there's a uniqueness in each one of us that no one else will ever have.
mm,
That's in you, that's
mm-hmm,
in me, that's in the listeners that choose to watch this.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I sort of get that. Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. There'll never be another Kelvin. Same with you, Chloe.
mm.
And that's a beautiful thing as well. So yeah, that was a new word I just came across just more recently, Shen. And yeah, so that's
You've
quite.
frozen again, brother.
That's okay. And I think you've frozen a bit as well. It's just a bit, yeah, it's internet
You're
connections.
back now. Yeah, yeah, you're back now.
It's a bit unstable and so it's
Yeah.
dropping out a bit. But yeah, it's
I
a
think,
new one I learned about the Shen. And but again, it's about that. It's just another word for spirit. So mm,
yeah. I think one thing, if I could just finish on this, because you've
mm,
spoken quite a lot about the inner child today,
mm,
there is a line in this verse. One will become like a child again. So when we are children, I suppose we are as close to our authentic selves, as we can be before all those layers. I mean, obviously they begin in childhood, but
mm,
when we're very young children, we are far more in touch with our true inner selves.
mm,
We're more I suppose we're more present in the moment, we're more joyful, there's more wonder in our lives, more curiosity. This is generally speaking, of course.
mm,
But one thing that's as I've like a child again. And it's incredible. It really is to live life more like a child again.
mm,
Um, that's probably been for me like the highlight of motherhood is being
mm,
able to kind of live like a child and have those experiences again. Yeah, it's been wonderful and I think that is a real important part of living virtuously is going back to those, that the playing, finding joy in the small things, being curious and wondering and asking questions.
mm.
It's all okay. It's not stupid to ask questions and to wonder, it's all
No.
okay.
Yeah, that's a very, very good one. When you said
Mm,
about being curious, I mean,
yeah.
that's what we do as children.
Mm,
We ask what I call really way out there questions, but I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
that's what children do. It's
Exactly.
almost like, and we get stuck into this mindset, don't we? and it's seeing everything in absolutes. It's going past the absolutes and sort of seeing something way more deeper. So, thank you for
Yeah.
thank you for reminding us of that, because for me, I have, I'm 55. Do I feel 55? No. I still feel like I don't know, I'm 18. Inside, just
Yeah.
that's just how I feel, and I'm
Mm,
happy with who I am, and I've got to the point now where I'm just glad I'm me, and enjoying life, and enjoying all the things that I like to pursue in my life, and don't
mm-hmm.
have the worries about thinking about what other people even think about me anymore.
Mm,
It's almost like I've gone past that now. It's just
mm.
like, yeah, so it's all good.
And it's
you
a
know
good feeling, isn't it,
mm, mm,
when you're just living life for you, really?
absolutely. Yeah,
When you're living
yeah,
life for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's just a really important thing, isn't it?
Mm.
It's what makes us happy, isn't it? As individuals,
Yeah, yeah.
in our daily lives, the things that bring, like you said, just those little things into our hearts, that, you know,
Mm,
seeing just, yeah, seeing the beauty in just the simplest of things in life,
mm,
because that's again, we live in, especially now in a society where it's just very constantly busy all the time,
mm-hmm.
and stuff and all that. And I've learned to sort of really disconnect myself from that now,
Same.
and sort of thing, and
Mm,
that, and I'm sort of living a life where I'm like, I'm doing my thing,
yeah.
for all I know, I don't really know something really, or what's going on within society until somebody tells me.
Mm,
That's just how disconnected I really am from it
yeah,
all.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the way I want to, that's the way that I've chosen to live my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me, yeah, and I just find that's very healthy for me. So yeah, it's a great. I think it's a great one to finish on for now,
It
because
is.
as we're
And I've just
running
realised that
running
there is a
down,
timer. Yeah, there is a timer.
is
We've got
there?
2.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll end it there. We'll end it there, and then we'll come back with a part two. That's what we'll do, and we'll carry on this
Definitely.
because
Yeah, yeah.
there's quite so much to explore just within this verse,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. There
yeah. So
really is.
we'll definitely do that and stuff and all that. But yeah, Chloe, it's just been amazing. Um, for me to get back in the seat as well, because I've been sort
Mm-hmm.
of, I've not been doing this for the last few months. But again, I needed that time. I needed that time out. I
Yeah,
needed that time
you
to,
did.
yes, and I'm thankful for that. And that, and yes, I will be doing podcasts, but they won't be so regular. I'm
Mm-hmm.
only looking at doing something mainly monthly rather than sort of like weekly, and that
Mm.
because I've got other things in my life that I want to pursue, as well as we all have other things in our lives as well. So, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm doing this, and just enjoying exploring this whole Taoist way, and yeah, and
Mm-mm.
hopefully we can do other things that we can bring in, on other
Yeah.
podcasts like meditations and
Mm-hmm.
so forth, and qigong and things like that as well.
There's so many crossovers, isn't there? Like you mentioned at the beginning, the things that you've looked at, Druidry, alchemy, and there's so many crossovers in all these ancient teachings and
Yeah,
traditions and
yeah.
practices. Yeah, yeah. There's so many crossovers, but yeah, we've got less than a minute, brother. So yeah,
Yeah, but
thank you for having
okay.
me on.
Yeah.
I
And
look forward to exploring it further.
further, yeah, forward to part two. And I just want to say thank you to our
Same.
listeners. And yeah, look forward to doing part two with you again, Chloe. And yeah, if please, if you hear I'm getting over my words. Yeah, if you like what you hear, please subscribe, put a thumbs up, and yeah, look forward to us being here in the next few days or whatever when we can
Yeah,
sort the next part two out. Much love to everyone, and we'll catch up soon.
great.
Bye.
Lots of love, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.